Namaste. Welcome to your prenatal asana series. We are going to practice prenatal Surya Namaskaras. The prenatal Surya Namaskaras are slightly modified based on the comfort and the condition of a pregnant woman. So we will actually practice the modified version of Surya Namaskaras in this series. Now, Surya Namaskaras are actually safe to be mostly practiced in second trimester, as the woman has the strength to practice this during the second trimesters. At the same time, she does not have the belly so large that it can impact or hinder her belly or the baby. So in the third trimester, the baby in the belly is very large, hence the whole series can be very strenuous for the body of the woman in the third trimester. In the first trimester, usually the woman is going through a lot of nausea, weakness, and the fetus is trying to stabilize into the uterus, and hence certain pelvic opening asanas are also not recommended, because Surya Namaskaras is a series of 10 asanas here in prenatal. So it can have various asanas which may not be recommended even in the first trimester. So hence we should ideally avoid this, or we can, based on learning about each asana, in this series you will learn about precautions to be taken care in each asana. So you can, if you want, modify Surya Namaskaras as per the comfort of first or third trimester if you would like. But really being mindful of the conditions in which the precautions should be taken in each asana. If that is taken care, then this can be practiced lightly even in third trimester or beginning or the end, maybe in the third month. That means the ending of the first trimester. So now there are other conditions such as placenta previa, where the placenta is placed downwards around the cervix. In that case, this asana should be avoided, because placenta placement, when it's downwards, we should not be doing any pelvic opening asana in that condition. Second condition is where there is a cervical stitch. Cervical stitch is a medical procedure in which a slight stitch is given to the cervix muscle to avoid any preterm delivery. That is done by doctors because the cervic muscle of a woman is very weak to hold the baby. So that is why we should not be doing pelvic opening asana, and Surya Namaskaras may involve many such asanas which can be strenuous, or it involves opening the pelvic area. Now, on other condition is if there is hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids is where there's excessive bleeding from anus because of acute constipation. In that case also it should be avoided. If there is a condition of higher blood pressure, low blood pressure, or sciatica back pain, in those cases also Surya Namaskara practice should be avoided. While you're suggesting this practice to any women, please be mindful that each asana has its own contraindication and precautions. So hence, it's important that you watch all the complete asana series before recommending this practice to any woman. Only if the woman is in healthy condition and has strength to practice this should be recommended. At any point in time, if she gets into any discomfort, the practice should be stopped immediately. Also, because we are practicing 10 asanas in one length together here, it's important that it never should be rushed. The transition should be absolutely slow and smooth, and never should women get into any kind of breathlessness while practicing this. If she is getting dizzy or getting too breathless, it's important that she ends the practice in between or hold and take rest and breathe into the belly and her heart, catch her breath back. That is a very important thing, because the idea of prenatal practices is never to exhaust the woman, but to bring her calmness and relaxation. So if a practice is bringing any restlessness, we should be avoiding that. At the same time, if you yourself are a yogic practitioner and you have practiced many rounds of Surya Namaskaras before and you think that you can do it even while being pregnant, it's a great idea, but precautions are very much necessary, and there is no competitiveness that should be kept in your mind that I used to do this many rounds before and now in prenatal I would want to do the same, because the body is changing rapidly, the muscular structure is changing rapidly, the baby and the belly is growing and hence taking a lot of your inner and outer strength of the muscles. So overstretching, overdoing anything should not be your idea. Even if you're recommending this to women who is absolutely healthy or have a yogic background, please make sure do not recommend more than 2 rounds, because more than 2 rounds can be very strenuous even in first 2 trimesters as well. So being mindful of this practice is very important. Slow transitional and keeping in mind the breath at all times is an important factor here. Otherwise, this asana series, Surya Namaskaras, has multiple benefits, because each asana practice in this series helps with so many various things, including stretching the entire body, regulating your nervous system, regulating your digestive system, helping the coordination of your muscular skeleton system and your nervous system, stretching the entire body, relieving any tensions, opening the pelvic area, stretching your leg muscles, hamstring muscles. And there are so many other benefits of each asana individually that the practice in itself is very good. But because it is done together, it can be strenuous. So just keep that in mind. And it's not necessary to even recommend Surya Namaskaras in the pregnancy phase at all if you feel like. In place of that, you can always suggest 1 or 2 asanas to be practiced at once rather than giving the whole practice. In second trimester, some women who have the history of keeping an active body or a yogic practice, it can be a good practice because it can be used as a good warm-up practice. But as the pregnancy progresses, as a warm-up practice, it's actually strenuous. So just keeping in mind the conditions, the person in your class, and the people that you're teaching, and comfort of each individual woman's body is very different during the prenatal phase. Now, let's get on to the practice. We begin with coming into the front of the mat, coming into Samasthiti, Namaste. Now, the transition has to be slow, breath has to be taken care in mind all the time, being mindful. From here, we stretch our arm upward as we inhale. And we do gentle forward bend as we exhale. Now I am in my 3rd trimester, in my 9th month, so I would be mindful of my baby and the belly while doing every step of this. So if one can reach the floor, it's very good. It's usually easier to reach the floor in first 2 trimester, but in the 3rd, it can have a risk of compression of the belly. So just gently doing the forward bending. From here, in a regular Surya Namaskaras, we straight away go to take our right leg back and then our left leg back. But in this case, prenatal, after the forward bend, you do not right away go, but you gently actually come onto the floor. Now from once you have come onto the floor, settle your hands and the feet on the floor. From here, you take your one leg back and come into half cobra. Look up. Breathe in. And from here, the next step is we come into plank. Now, the easier version is to keep both your knees on the floor and not to strain the belly and the baby or abdomen muscles. In the second trimester, if a woman has strength, she can practice complete plank, but for very few seconds. Otherwise, keeping knees on the floor is recommended. Now from here, we rise into downward facing dog, being very mindful and being careful. Inhaling and exhaling. And from here, bringing your knees back, coming into child. And from child, coming into tabletop and coming into cat pose. From cat, we come back into half cobra, bringing our right leg forward and placing our left leg back, looking front. And gently bringing our left leg also coming into forward bend. And gently rising up into Samasthiti. Now, being mindful of each step, being mindful of breath at every point in time is a crucial aspect of practicing Surya Namaskaras. Just to remind you the flow, we start with Samasthiti or Namaste. We stretch our arms upwards, then we go into forward bend, but we do not take our legs back straight away. We go down, touch the floor very gently and carefully. Then we go into half cobra, look up, and then we come into plank or a partial plank where the knees are on the floor. After the plank, we go into downward facing dog. After downward facing dog, we come into child. Once we have settled into child, we go into cat, looking forward, stretching the spine. Then coming out through, coming into half cobra once again, coming into forward bend, and then slightly rising up back into Samasthiti. That is the flow we will follow, but keeping in mind slow transition, never over jerking, never stretching the side muscles too much, being mindful of the baby and the belly, and the lower abdomen muscles can be very sensitive during the prenatal phase and hence cause an overstretch or a muscle pain at any point in time. So if the transitions are fast, that can aggravate a low abdomen muscle pain, which can be hurtful for 10 to 20 minutes or even longer. So reminding the woman of keeping it slow, keep breathing in each step is very important phenomena while practicing the Surya Namaskaras. It's a great practice with great benefits, but should be done with a lot of precautions while in prenatal phase. Thank you.